Good evening, sir.
This call is now being recorded.
Okay, now in the last class, we discussed about what parameter passing techniques, only call by value we finished. And for call by reference, since we need the basics of pointers, that's why the entire class we spend on the concept of pointers. Okay, now let us go for that call by reference now. Using these pointers, now what we can do is, as we have seen already in call by value, two things are there. It is difficult to return multiple values because in C the function always returns only one value. Okay, that's the one problem. And second thing is the function related local variables are the formal parameters. They can manipulate the local variables are with its own. They cannot modify the variables which are declared in some other function. Okay, so that's what the problem. So to overcome that one, we need pointers, and through pointers, what we can do is we can go for call by reference. Now in call by reference, what we do, the swapping example. Suppose if we again repeat in swapping, what we did, the main variables we had two create variables we created in the main having in some initial values, and we are expecting that whatever the two values are there, they should be swapped by some other function, not by main itself. So that's why what we did, what are the two variables we declared in the main, we pass them to the function expecting maybe the values are going to be swapped. But that thing has not happened when we adopted the concept of call by value. So let us go for once again that same concept of call by value, and there we'll try to modify it. So I'm demonstrating here all of you. What was our void main. In the main method, we declare the two variables a, assume that holding 5, b holding say 7. So these are the two variables we declared, a and b, having 5 and 7. Now what we did, we printed the values before swap, just to for the sake of us knowing about the initial values before swap. The before swap, a is equal to percentile d, comma b is equal to percentile d, and a comma b that we are printing here. So this was the before swap we printed. Then we call the swap method by passing a comma b. Observe carefully here. Again we are going call by value method only. Just once again we are repeating the same. So once again, hoping that maybe after the call, the values of after swap a is equal to percentile d, comma b is equal to percentile d, comma a comma b. So this was that main method, and now we have to define what the method called swap. So since it is not returning any value, so that's why return type is void only, and the function name is swap, having parameters int x comma int y. Now int temp, a temporary variable I have taken in which I'm storing x here. X is equal to y, that means y is assigned to x here, and y to which I am assigning temp. So this was the logic of swapping the two values. Now if I compile this, okay fine, now I will run that. So upon running, what we are observing is that before swap a is 5, b is 7. After swap also still a remained 5, b remained 7. So now to overcome this one, call by reference is only will work. So for that, what we have to do, instead of
100%
passing the values a and b, let us pass
addresses.
their addresses. Ampersand of a, ampersand of b. I told you ampersand stands for catching the address of a particular variable. So here to the swap method, ampersand a means address of a I'm passing, and here address of b also we are passing. And these two addresses, since we are passing the addresses, to catch them, what we need as a formal parameters, how they should be,
Pointer,
Amma? They should
pointer
be
asterisk X, asterisk Y.
good, Amma. So to catch that addresses, we have to create the two pointer variables. Now, now these two, x is holding the address of a and y is holding the address of b. Now we don't want to swap the addresses, rather we want to what we want to do, we want to swap the values within that addresses. So to extract the value, asterisk again we have to use. So wherever we have x, there I'm using an ample or sorry asterisk x, and in place of y, I'm saying asterisk y. So that's what about what the values holded by x and y. I mean the values holded by a and b. Okay, through the pointers x and y, I'm catching. So this is what about what's that called by reference here. So whenever we want to go for reference, be careful. We have to pass the addresses, and to catch the addresses, we have to create the formal parameters which are of pointer type. Now let us compile this again. Okay, fine. Now let us run this. Here you observe that before swap A is 5, B is 7. After swap A is 7 and B is 5. That's what we were expecting. That A should contain the value of B and B should have the value of A. Yes, sir. The two values have been swapped. That is what the power of your call by reference. So this what about that actually we have to wind up in the last class itself, but we took time in explaining about the pointers itself. So this is what the concept here. So finally what we understand, sir, when we have to go for call by reference, then finally is it required that for everything we have to go for call by reference? For every function call, is it required to go for call by reference? When to go for call by reference then? Yes, Amma, anyone? Yes.
When we wish to change the values, sir, or when we want to modify the input and calculate and give the
Ah,
output.
okay. So two cases are there, Amma. Say there are two functions we used here. One is main method, the other one is swap method. That is main function and swap function. Now in main function, local variables are a and b. And in swap function, the local variables are x, y, and temporary variables. X and y are of course pointer type, and temp is a local variable of integer type, value type. Now, if you are saying that if you are expecting that main related a and b variables to be modified, or any one of the variables, if you are expecting that one function local variable has to be modified by other function, then that variable which you are expecting to be modified has to be passed as call by reference. So here we are trying that we want to modify both A and B. That's why both A and B we pass them okay as references. Okay, if you are expecting that only one variable or few out of some 5, 6 variables, if you are expecting few of them to be modified, then whichever the variables that you are expecting to be modified by some other function, then in that case that variables only to be passed as call by reference. That means you have to use the pointers for that. That was the one case. Second case is what? When we are expecting that multiple values to be returned from a function, then in C we don't have that provision of passing multiple values. So there we have to again use what's a call by reference only to expect multiple values in return from a function. So that's what the power of call by value, I mean call by reference, but not a rule that every time we have to go for call by reference, because call by reference means that pointers concepts to be cleared. Sometimes we go for multi-level pointers also, that is pointer to the pointer. If you go into data structure, you'll come to know maybe for few data structures while implementing we have to use multiple pointers. I mean pointer to the pointer level, two level pointer we have to use. So if you are strong enough, then you can easily handle. Otherwise, when it is not required, when you are not expecting that your local variables of one function to be modified by some other function, then there is no need to go for call by reference. Call by value is quite enough. So that's what about the call by value and call by reference. Now, next topic today is what? Command line arguments. Very interesting. Command line argument. Till now, what we did, we have seen that the main method was passing the parameters to the some other functions, and that other functions, whatever the task is assigned by the main method, that functions have completed their respective task, which is given by main, and return the values. So uh, the task which is provided to the other function, the what's the parameters we passed. So that means what I'm trying to say here, the user defined functions, whatever the till now we use, we pass the parameters whenever required. Now the question is, can we pass the parameters to the main method? Every time till date we didn't use any parameters which are passed to the main method. Have seen that open and close parentheses after main method we use, means function call operators. but we didn't pass any parameters to the main method. Now the question is, can we pass parameters to the main method? Can main method have parameters? Can the main method take parameters? Yes, Amma? నేను అనేది ఏంటంటే మెయిన్ మెథడ్ కు ఇప్పుడు చూడండి ఇందాకనే if you see this slide here, in main method, after main method we didn't pass any parameters to main, rather from main we pass parameters to the swap method. See on the screen, the ppt slide, if you see, swap method is holding the two parameters which are passed by main method. Similarly, can we pass parameters, or can main holds any parameters? Can we pass the parameters to the main method? What is the answer? Sujana, anyone? Yes, Amma? Yes, Amma?
When we can pass the parameters to other function, then we can even take, no sir, by
Yeah,
using the same method swap.
yeah, I agree. That my question now, the new topic I'm going to start here, that is what? Command line arguments. Now the question which I asked is, can we pass parameters to the main method? Or the other way, can main method hold any parameters? Right now, this main method or the previous programs, whatever that we did, we didn't pass any parameters to the main method. The main function did not take any parameters. Here, let me try to explain. We said simply like this, like as what? uh, Void main return type, of course we kept void every time, and we simply say main open close, that's all, and the body we of course we have written. We didn't pass any parameters to the main method. See, empty parenthesis we have here after main. Now the question is, can we pass any parameters? Can this main holds any parameter? Yes, Amma? Okay, I'll tell you that. The answer is, we can pass parameters to the main method. Okay, and that parameters we call them as command line arguments. We can pass the arguments to the main method or parameters to the main method, and that parameters or arguments are called as command line arguments. Okay, and main takes the two important command line arguments. What are they means? To the main, the two parameters which it can take are argc of integer type, first one, and second one is character pointer array.
ARGV.
ARGV. It's an array of pointers. It's not array of any, what's this one, individual characters. It's array of pointer. That means this particular array will hold the addresses of various strings. Okay. So thus, I repeat once again, to the main method also we can pass the parameters. Such a parameters are called as command line arguments. We call them as command line arguments. Now, once if you pass any arguments, the number of arguments, the count of the number of arguments is what's stored in ARGC. That's why it's called as argument count. C stands for count, argument count. And this particular one is called as argument vector. Vector means that set of values, collection of values. So this is what about the argument vector, which is of string type. So that means all this particular array will hold the addresses of various strings which are passed as parameters from command line. So that's what about the two parameters which we can pass to the main, and these two together called as command line arguments. So I repeat once again, the two arguments, the first argument is integer type, which holds the number of arguments which are passed to this particular main method through command line. And the second one is the number of arguments. Each argument base address is what's stored in this particular pointer array. So that means whatever the arguments are passed by the user, that arguments are stored in this particular array or vector. Clear, sir? Now, what is the use of this one? So many uses are there. If you see that in DAS, so many commands are there. dir command is there. Maybe you remember or not. Copy command is one of the common words. or the commands in the DOS programming, where we can transfer the file content from one to the other. Okay, so likewise, DOS commands, so many we have seen, and all these DOS commands properly we can generate by using what are these command line arguments. And nevertheless, we can pass the various arguments and we can manipulate many things, like as if you want to add the or values, or if you want to multiply the values, or if you want to search for a particular value, many programming things we can do by using what's these command line arguments. Now let me demonstrate that. Initially, two programs have decided to show. One program is just simply demonstrating about how these two values can be used and can be displayed, okay, on the screen. So I'm going back to my programming, Amma. So let me open this. So I'll rub all this, erase. Now let me write in fresh the command line arguments program. No need to also include any header file here additionally. Okay, void. Of course, you can even use WhatsApp into return type also. Void main. First parameter is WhatsApp. The first parameter
ARGC.
arg. That is what is the indication of that first argument will hold what?
Number of arguments which are passed to main method.
Yes, Sama. So now that I'm saying, say count. There is no need. They are not keywords, Sama. ARGC, ARGV, and you can give your what are identifiers. User defined identifiers can be given like anything. So I'm using the first one as count, which indicates about the number of arguments, and the second one is character array of, I'm saying it as a vector array, VEC. I'm calling the particular as VEC. లేదంటారా మీరు యాజ్ యూజువల్ ఇందాక చెప్పినట్టుగానే వాడుకోవచ్చు. యూ కెన్ యూజ్ ఈవెన్ దట్ ARGC and ARGV ఆల్సో, నో ప్రాబ్లం ఎట్ ఆల్. Okay, now our simple program is, let us display the number of arguments, okay, through the count variable, and also let us display all the arguments which are passed by the user. All of you listen how I'm doing. Very simple. So first, directly what I'll do, let me take a local variable int I for loop purpose, because we have to travel from first argument to the last argument, we have to move. So for moving purpose, for traveling purpose, I'm using a variable called I. Now let me print the first message stating the number of arguments are %t comma. Now the count is in which particular ones, are in which variable we have in main method? Count variable. So the count variable I'm displaying, because count variable holds the number of arguments. Second one is, each argument will try to simply display. So for I is equal to 0, I less than how much, sir? Count, because number of arguments type we have to travel, COUNT, okay, and then incrementing the I value. I'm traveling. This time what I'll do, every also the vector, whatever the vector is there, or argument, %d, that means which argument it is. So for that purpose I'm using that, is equal to %s. This is what the new format symbol I'm using to display the string, Amma. %s for string to display. So %d is for integer, %f is for float, %c for char, %u is for unsigned, and ld for double. Now one more format symbol I'm using called %s, which stands for the string here. Now the two things will display. One is I value, ith parameter, and the vector VEC of I. These two will try to display. That's all. Nothing is there. Only two print statements. One is count, how many arguments are passed by the user. The other one is what? What is that each argument which is passed by the user. That two will catch. So let me compile this. Yeah, successful. Now how to run this one, sir? All of you. So to run this one, what I have to do is, let me go to the command prompt, CMD. Here is my DOS prompt, DOS command prompt. Now where I have stored this particular program means on desktop, I compiled and stored on the desktop. Let me go to that. Here is what my desktop, demo program. So command line is what? just now we saved. Okay, the name of the file is command line 1. Okay, and we compiled it. Upon compiling, two more files are created. One is object file, the other one is executable file. This is what very important for us, exe file. So that exe file will run from this command prompt. From this command prompt, we'll try to run the exe file. So since it is stored in the desktop, so I have to completely go to that particular path. So already C user Rasik, from this Rasik, and now I'm getting it towards a desktop here. On the desktop, one more folder is there. That folder is called as demo prog, I think. Yeah, demo programs. Only one program is there, that itself we are running here right now. Now to directly run that, instead of your editor, if you want to run through command prompt, if you have exe file, that is quite enough. So what is the exe file that generated? command line 1 is what my exe file, space, all of you. Now pass the arguments. So let us say that arguments are some names. Gopi space Ravi space Anita. So 3 arguments are passed. So total, how many arguments altogether, Amma?
3.
3. But your first particular one is also considered as a command line. So altogether there are 4 command lines are there, and first particular parameter should be always equal to the program, your program name, your exe file name. It should be always first parameter. Followed by, with spaces, you can pass any number of other arguments. Of course, they are all treated as strings here. That's why if you see the second parameter which is passed to the main method, that parameter is of which type? Character type. That means what? Okay, character pointer type. That means what? Strings. So every command line argument which is passed is considered as a string. And remember, the first one should be always your exe file, your program name, which is saved and also compiled. After compilation, whatever the exe file is generated, that we have to use it as a first argument, followed by, with spaces, remaining arguments we can pass. So together, total number of arguments which we passed to that particular command line, through command line to the main method, total number are 4. And let us see what are they. Here is that number of arguments are 4, and 0th location in that array of pointers, so string of pointers, the 0th location array is holding command line, which is exe file, the file name, your program name, and the first argument is Gopi, second argument is Ravi, and the third argument is Anita. So likewise, total number of arguments are 4, and the respective arguments are, these are the respective arguments. Okay, sir, all of you. Now, in case if you want the two together, if you want to pass, we can pass them by keeping them in double quotation. That means the two strings together, if you are treating that as a one string, you better write that type of string into double quotation. So let me run once again. Command line Anita. Now what I'll do, S space Ravi or Shastri Ravi. Shastri Ravi together, I want that to be treated as one argument. So now this time the total number of arguments are how many?
5, sir.
5. Because Shastri Ravi together, we treated them as one string only. And the remaining are 4. 4 plus 1 are 5. So thus the number of arguments are 5, and the 0th argument is, or the first argument is command line. Second argument is Gopi, and then Ravi, Anita, and finally Shastri Ravi, something like this. So this is what about the way that how we can pass the parameters to the main method, and we can manipulate within the program of main what are the parameters which are passed. Okay, so let me demonstrate one more program. Now what I'll do this time, that I want the addition of all the parameters, integer parameters to be passed. Yes, Amma. Yes, Amma.
Why do we use this command line arguments, sir?
That's why I told you that many programs we can do, Amma, by using command line. If you have exe file, no need your compiler to be opened, your editor to be opened, and through or input output device we have to pass, no need. Okay, just you hold that particular exe file, and through exe file you pass the parameters and you can get the result. That's what I'm trying to demonstrate through one more program. And many DAS commands or even some shell programming we can do by using command line, Amma. OS related, operating system related, shell programming, and many others we can do by using what's this command line arguments. Okay, now here through this particular program, just I have demonstrated how we can catch the command line arguments. Now by using the command line arguments, what other programming we can do means, here I'm demonstrating, I want to add all the numbers which are passed by the user. Okay, Rama? Integer arguments, if they are passed by the user, they should be added. Okay, that's what I'm trying to demonstrate. Of course, so many things we can do, Amma. All programming, once if you use the command line arguments, then there is no need of any editor to be opened or all that. Just you compile, get the exe file, now take away that exe file and go on, run the programs, they will work as usual. Okay, all the programs you can do, whatever you want. Okay, so then let me demonstrate about that one, the second one. So this time what I'll do, we expect something from the user, the integers to be passed as arguments, and whatever the number of integers which are passed, they should be added and the resultant to be displayed. So I and some one more variable, initially I'm taking it as 0. So one more variable I have taken. Now for I is equal to, now tell me what is the logic here. I want to add, that means here is the program, Amma. So for example, command line, let me remove all these strings. This is what my exe file name, space 10, 18, 23, 46, 78. So these are the numbers which I have passed, and the sum of all these numbers to be displayed back. So what the resultant here, 28, 48, 51, 57, 97, 97, 78, 97 plus 78. Okay, 15, I think 175 or 165, whatever maybe. So that's what the resultant that we have to get. This is what I'm expecting to be displayed. Okay, so let me see what I have to do. What is the logic here? Anyone? So from 10 onwards, whatever that we passed here, 10, 18, 23, all this we passed now. So from 10 onwards, all that integer values to be added. So from where I have to start? Anyone? My loop I have to continue. No, I have to travel from, okay, all that arguments which are passed, starting from first argument to the last. So that I to be started from where?
Yes, sir.
0 or 1?
1, sir.
1, because 0th argument is always your file name. And the remaining arguments are what? The integer arguments which are passed by the user. Therefore, I have to start from 1. So let me type that here, from 1. And till what extent I have to continue this?
Count.
Until count. Not equal to, because array starts from 0 and 1 less than of the size. Size is count itself. So from 1 to less than count, I want to travel through your array or your vector. Now here sum is equal to sum plus
I.
What is that? Each one it is stored in the different locations of array. Kada? So what is that array? VEC is your array. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Of I. Oh, no?
Asterisk vector of I.
Okay. Why asterisk is required?
Value, no, sir.
Okay, that's what. Yeah. What I'm trying to do here, sum is equal to, or otherwise simple notation I'll write instead of this shortcut. Sum is equal to sum plus initial sum is of course 0 plus each vector starting from 1. So what is the first element? 0th element is your program name. First argument is 10. That will be added to sum, and then the resultant will become 10. 10 to which again 18 will be added, so it will become 28, and to that 28, 23 will be added, like this from 10 to 78, all these they will be added. No, but the problem is, where is the problem here? Of course, VEC of I is quite enough. VEC of I is nothing but initially I is 1. So VEC of 1 is nothing but in that array first element, not 0th element, because 0th element is your program. So first element, and to that again what we are doing, I will be incremented, it will come 2. So that is VEC of 2. VEC of 2 means third argument. Okay, likewise it will continue until count. Now where is the problem here in this statement? Anyone?
The character value, we are giving numerical to a character value.
Yeah, so here, what are the command lines? Yeah, in the initial stage, I'll tell you what are that line, whether they are numbers you type or whatever it may be, the spellings or anything. They will be treated as what's a strings here. So 18 is treated as these 10, 18, 23, whatever that you are passed, they're all treated as integers. Sorry, strings here, but they should be converted into integers. So for that one, what I will do in my programming is there is a provision that we can convert the string into integer or float or any other type. So for that one, stdlib is my header file which is available, using which I can use a method which converts, and that method is atoi. I stands for integer. If you want to convert that into float, then atof is there. So likewise, few methods are there which convert the given string into the respective type. So here what I'm expecting that the string which we have passed 10, 18, they are all treated as strings here, but that each string to be converted into integer, that's why I'm using this method called atoi. I stands for integer. If you want that the value to be converted into float, means atof you write, but I want that they should be integers because we typed up integers only. So that to convert this particular string of vector into an integer, this additional method, conversion method, I'm using. That's all. There is a so small change that I did it. Now after coming out of the loop here, let me type the sum. The sum is %LD comma SUA. Okay, sir, all of you. Let me recompile this because I want it should be created in fresh. So the fresh exe file is created. Now this time that same 10, 18, 23, all 46 will pass. Let us see. The number of arguments are of course 6. What are they means? 10 up to integer they are 5, and the first parameter is come out your program name. Total together 6, and the sum is 175. Sum is how much, sir? 175. Yes, if you count, you will find that 175. So likewise, I can pass the arguments and can get the sum up to 1 to 10 numbers this time. Sigma 10, that is 55. So you just add it, you'll find the result. So likewise, whatever the parameters which are passed, with the help of that parameters, whatever the programming logic that you want to implement, we can implement it. Okay, using this command
Sir,
line. Yes.
sir, can you please once show what is the output that we get if we don't use the function a to I?
A to Y. Okay, fine. Let me see. So since I modified it, I have to recompile. Right. Assign an integer. Okay, this is a warning only right now. So if we neglect the warning, let us see that. But anyhow, let us read the warning which is given. Assign to int from char star makes integer function private without any cons. So typecasting without any and చెప్పి So something a typical answer I'm getting. Are you getting, Amma? Some typical 467, maybe it is some address, it is printing. So that's what the problem.
Okay, sir, thank you.
The reason is each one is treated as a string, but since all that values according to the user, they are not strings, rather they are what? Integers. So to convert the each string into integer, I'm using that auto I, okay, as a method to convert.
Okay, sir.
Right. So this is what the concept of about command line arguments. Interesting. Now the third one, I mean the next concept in today's one is variable number of arguments function. Now to do this one, let me go back to the explanation chart. Let me ask few questions from all of you. What is the specialty of this method, Amma? SQRT 5 or 25. You know, it will give what's the square root
25.
which is 5. Similarly, likewise, so many we have seen. We have created just now. Swap is a method which is created. We pass two variables to it, okay, of integer type. Likewise, many we have seen. Now, what is the specialty of this particular function? Yes, Amma. Or simple this printf also. What is the specialty of these function, Amma? Yes, anyone?
There are various number of overloaded functions for printf.
Okay, you're going towards an overloading concept, oops concept. But that overloading concept is not there in C, Amma. Good concept. At least you observe that I mean multiple printf statements are there which are overloaded. Of course, the same function name with the different arguments according to the C++ or object-oriented programming. We learned that that concept comes under function overloading. So that means the printf function is overloaded, and here in this printf function, it is taking only one parameter. That too, it is a string. Whereas here in this printf statement, it is taking three arguments. Do you observe that there are three arguments, Amma? You see the comma operator. If you observe the comma, can be passed the three arguments. So as she said that means the printf is such a function which is overloaded. Okay, so that means different written. But the basic concept is not like that. It is not overloaded because the overloading concept, which is oops concept, is not at all there in C language. Okay. Then how a printf statement is handled? That is what the interesting question. Not only printf. If you talk about the scanf, the same behavior you will find in the case of scanf also. You know, suppose if I want to read a variable x here, I can say scanf percentage d comma ampersand of x here. Say if you want to read the two parameters x and y, then I can say scanf percentage d comma x comma ampersand of x comma ampersand of y. Okay, likewise if I want to say read multiple variables like this, int x comma y, two variables are there, and float, okay, p comma q comma r, three variables are there, and there is a variable called char which is ch. So all this if I want to read, then I can read at a stretch by properly taking the printf statement and designing it. Say percentile f, and one more percentile f, and then percentile c, close ampersand of x, ampersand of y, comma, ampersand of p, ampersand of q, ampersand of r, comma, ampersand of ch. Here I'm closing. I didn't write properly, but try to understand my meaning, what I'm trying to say. So this printf and scanf statements, if you clearly observe, as I said that here in this printf statement, we observe that it is taking only one parameter, where here in this printf statement, we observe that it has taken three parameters. Similarly, in the case of scanf, here it was taking only two parameters, and here it has become three parameters, whereas here altogether, how many parameters that we passed to the scanf, Amma, anyone? Here in this last scanf, how many parameters that we passed? Arguments? Yes, Amma.
6, sir.
6, including the first one means total 7 parameters that we pass. So likewise, that is what the specialty of these two functions. Particularly formatted input output, if we see printf, scanf, f printf, f scanf, c printf, c scanf, like this, so many printf scanf methods are there, and console oriented printf scanfs and are only one, standard printf and standard scanf. File oriented we have so many. So if I consider all these printfs and scanf methods, they are such a methods that they can take any number of arguments. There is no limit, and they are not overloaded. Okay, overloaded అంటే కల్లా అన్ని లక్షలు తయారు చేయొచ్చు అట్లయితే. సో మన మొత్తం మీ మెమరీ అంతా ఓవర్లోడెడ్ ఫంక్షన్స్ తో నిండిపోతుంది. సో రిమెంబర్, these are not overloaded functions in C, but these functions are such a beautiful functions that they can take any number of arguments without any hesitation. Whatever the number of arguments we pass, they do their work on that arguments which we pass without any problem. But this is also a library function. Which one? The sqrt. And sqrt will not take multiple arguments. It takes only one argument. Here observe this sqrt method. Sqrt takes only one argument. You call any number of times, only one argument is enough, and that argument, whatever we pass, it calculates the square root and will return. Whereas these are not like that. These printf and scanf methods are such a beautiful methods that if you pass any number of arguments, it will take. Okay, such a functions we call them as variable number of arguments function. Variable number of arguments function. Why variable number of arguments? The number of arguments are not fixed here. They are varying. Sometimes we are passing 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, like this. Okay, whereas sqrt is not variable number of argument function. It is a fixed argument function. Okay, so it always takes only 1. So likewise, so many are there. SCL or SCR is one of the methods which won't take any argument. No need to pass any argument. Are you all getting, sir, what I am trying to say? Yes, Amma?
Yes, sir.
So can we design such a functions then? Can we design such a printf scanf functions which can take any number of arguments without any mistake or without any error? The answer is yes, sir. Now, for example, I am interested in writing the method like this. Add 3, 4, 5, 6. It should add all this. Or some other time, the same method I will call, but I will pass 1, 2, 7, 4, 3, 5, 9. So likewise, same method. Okay, sometimes here I'm passing 4, sometimes here I'm passing, I think, 8. So likewise, whatever the number of arguments I'm passing, it should take and should add all of them and should return the result. Can we write? Yes, the answer is we can write such a functions. Okay, and such a functions including the printf and scanf functions, they are all called as variable number of arguments functions. Okay, Nama. Now, what is the specialty of these functions and how we can handle them? Even if you pass 100 arguments, the same method will work. They are not without overloading. No need to go for any overloading. Even if I pass 100, it will accept all the 100 parameters, and all that 100 parameters will be added in the result and will be shown. Okay, so likewise. So what is the specialty? You observe that carefully how we can handle them. ఎందుకంటే అన్నిటికీ డేటా టైప్ స్పెసిఫై చేయాల్సి వస్తుంది. మీరు డేటా టైప్ లేకుండానే మనం హ్యాండిల్ చేయగలుగుతున్నాం. ఇన్ ద కేస్ ఆఫ్ ప్రింట్ యూ అబ్జర్వ్ కేర్ఫుల్లీ, దిస్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో హ్యావింగ్ సమ్ స్పెషాలిటీ. %d, %d, x, y, which prints the x and y values. చెప్పండి, what is the specialty here? Okay, one thing we got it that these are the functions which take any number of arguments, and a function which takes any number of arguments are called, such a functions are called as variable number of arguments function. And these functions, of course, we can design, but in order to design them, there is a specialty that we have to catch in these functions. And if we're able to catch with the help of that particular tricky part, we can implement. So tell me, what is the tricky part here in this my example user defined function add, as well as in the printf and scanf functions? What is the tricky part you have in this? Just observe and tell. All of you. I want you will involvement, Amma. If you won't involve, then no need. I mean, no use. Okay, tell me. Anyone? There is a tricky part here in this printf standard library functions, scanf, as well as add methods. Yes, Amma. Observe carefully and tell me. What is the specialty? What is the tricky part here? They are variable number of argument functions we can write. We are going to write now. But before I start writing them, there is a specialty that hidden in these arguments. I'm giving you the hint also. There is a tricky part which is hidden in these arguments. If you catch that tricky part, then we can implement. With the help of only one method implementation, we can pass any number of arguments. It will take them and will give the result. Make it fast, Amma. Yes, Amma. Soumya, anyone in the class. Someone type some numbers, Amma. Anyone? Did you catch the tricky part? Aparna, Prasuna, Aisha, Bhavana, anyone?
Sir, in printf, first argument must be a string.
Excellent, Amma. Good observation. Even in the scanf also, same gada? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That's what the observation. You observe that printf and scanf functions. The first argument always a string. ఓకే మీరు ఒకటే పాస్ చేయాలి సపోజ్ స్టాన్లీ కాలేజ్ అనే మెసేజ్ ప్రింట్ చేయాలి హౌ విల్ పాస్ దట్ మెసేజ్ వితౌట్ ఎనీ అదర్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్స్ దట్ సేమ్ సింగిల్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్ we pass it as a string here in the second one which is there on the screen, I have written that something called printf %d comma x comma y. See, observe that first one is always a string here. In the case of scanf also, first argument is a string. That is what the tricky part, we have to catch that one. Okay, what is the tricky part here? In my function which I designed, I am interested in add method na, so I have written the two add methods. Observe carefully and tell me what is the tricky part there. Good observation, Amma. Who has given that answer is absolutely right. To implement this variable number of arguments function, there should be one hidden, what's the tricky part, and in the printf and scanf, as she said, that the tricky part is the first argument is always a string. Now, what is the tricky part that I have written it here in my add method? Yes, Amma. Anyone? Observe carefully and tell me. I'll wait. At least one answer I have to get from the group.
Number of arguments are varying.
Number of arguments of? Yes, Amma, come on. Are you right or wrong? Don't worry. Just
Number of arguments is like unknown or it's varying.
Yeah. That's why they are called as variable number of argument function. Even printf is also the same. మీరు ఎన్న పాస్ చేసినా తీసుకుంటుందా లేదా? ఇట్ విల్ టేక్. printf and scanf functions will take. అదైతే యాక్చువల్ ఉంది, కానీ నేను ట్రికీ పార్ట్ అంటున్నాను. ట్రికీ పార్ట్ లో ఆ అమ్మాయి చెప్పింది చూడండి, ఇన్ ది printf scanf లో ఫస్ట్ పారామీటర్ ఇస్ ఆల్వేస్ స్ట్రింగ్. యు రైట్ like anything. If you don't want to pass, at least you just open, empty parenthesis you keep. Otherwise, if you want to pass anything, then it should be in double quotation, the first parameter, and the next can be anything. That is the tricky part. Tell me the tricky part in my add method. They are variable number of arguments. In first add method we are having 4 something, and in second argument we have something called 8. So what are the tricky part that I kept here in my add method? Sundragama, quick. Yes, Amma. I kept some tricky part here. Just see, observe carefully and tell me what it is. Fast. Name wise shall we call? Chaitanya, Varalakshmi, Bhavani, Maheshwari, Maunika. Yes, Amma. Make it fast. Didn't get any tricky part in my method which I am interested in writing? Okay, I will tell you, Amma. It a dull unte etla ma, what is the so class day by day they are also getting okay namma. నేను పిలిచిన వాళ్ళు కంపల్సరీ చెప్పాల్సి వస్తుంది అప్పుడు. I told you in the very beginning that interaction is important for me. I didn't stop you asking doubts. Soumya, okay. Anyone, make it fast. Okay, I'll tell you the tricky part which I did in my add method. We know the tricky part in printf and scanf is the first one is string here. In my one, the first one indicates that how many are there remaining. Here I wrote 3 here. Observe carefully, the remaining are 3 only. Here in the second add method, the first one is 7. Count the remaining, they are 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's what the tricky part which I kept here. Without that particular logical part, tricky part, difficult will become difficult to implement what, sir? The variable number of arguments method. Then how we can implement? Let us see this here. Now to implement such a variable number of arguments function, what we need is here, we have to take the support of some macros here. Okay, methods and some macros are there, and these macros are of course designed and stored in the stdarg.header file.h. Standard argument header file is there, and in that standard argument header file, some macros which are already defined and they are kept in this header file, and that macros we have to use. So how many are there? We are least bother here. To implement such a function, the 4 macro details are quite enough for us. First one is VA list here. This VA list is okay, a type which indicates about the variable number of argument list type it tells. So VA list type of variable that we have to take first. And once if you declare the VA list type of variable, then that variable related should be bind with the first argument of your method with the help of VA start. So once if that particular one is binded with the VA start, then one by one each argument we can fetch from the all arguments with the help of VA underscore ARG, which is variable number of argument method or macro. With the help of that macro, what we can do is we can fetch each argument from the list here. And once if the argument is fetched, you can do whatever you want to do on that particular argument. It's up to us to the implementing the logic. And once if the work is done, then we have to end that particular variable. We have to cut that particular variable. For that, we have to use one more macro to clean up the memory. That is VA underscore end. So these are the 4 macros with the help of which we can implement the variable number of arguments method. And remember that second thing is, since we don't know about all how many the user wants to pass, so that's why what you have to do, the first function, first argument is known, and whatever the known argument is there, comma followed by ellipsis symbol we have to use. And this ellipsis is a 3-dotted symbol, and this 3-dotted symbol indicates that there are variable number of arguments are there which are passed to the method, or we can say the method is capable of holding or collecting the variable number of arguments. So that's why the 2 important things that we have to design. One is what? The first parameter, whatever that here in my case, first parameter is integer type. And in printf scanf case, the first parameter is a string type. And followed by the remaining, we don't know the data type and how the user wants to pass, what type of parameters that user is interested in passing. So when we don't know, we have to keep a symbol called ellipsis symbol, which is 3-dotted symbol, with the help of which we can indicate to the compiler that the function is not a fixed number of arguments function, rather it is a variable number of argument function. So this is what that we have to remember in implementing the variable number of argument function. Okay, Nama, all of you. Okay, na? Yes, Amma.
Yes,
sir.
Okay, shall we implement then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now the question is same add method we'll try to write. I think it's already written, but anyhow, shall I take the same or otherwise? Okay, we'll try to write that. Include std.h, include stdarg is what your header file that we have to take. Main method. Okay, now int I maybe for what say loop purpose. Sum is for adding purpose, addition purpose. What else here? That's all. Now, okay, no need of this all. Just I'll take sum or result, res. So res is equal to add of, observe carefully, 5 comma, my hint is this only, the first argument is 5, that means it will tell you the remaining are how many. So remaining are say 7 comma 8 comma 9 comma 12. How many are over already? 4, and one more I have to pass, say something called 4 I passed. This is what my first add I'm calling method. So this is res amma. Now let me print. The sum is percentage d comma res. Now this method I have to implement. So to implement that one, it returns the resultant is integer type because addition of all that I am doing here. Add is a method name. First parameter is num, which is of integer type because 5 is an integer type, and remaining how many we don't know. So that's why even the data type also I'm least bothered. In my case all are integers, but how many we don't know. That's why I'm keeping 3 dot symbol which stands for ellipsis. Begin. Now what are the steps that I told you to follow, Amma? First I comma sum I will take, which is initially 0. Tell me, Amma, what to do. First va underscore list type of variable I have to take. va underscore list type of variable I have to take. Then after that, to this va list variable I have to bind with my first variable in the method. What is the first variable which is known to me? Is num. So that num and to this particular vp I have to bind. So for binding purpose, va underscore st start, which I have to use, and to that vp I have to bind num. You see this 4 macros. Let me run this slide again. va list is a variable list type, data type, and to that data type we have to create a variable. Of course I have taken that variable as va, and va start macro will bind that first argument to my variable va list type. And once if the binding is over, in order to fetch each particular argument from the list of arguments, I have to use va underscore arg. So that means I'll use it here. Now for I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to num, because number of times remaining is there. Remaining arguments are num number of, and sum is equal to sum plus va underscore arg of the sum vp comma, what are the remaining arguments of which type? They are all integer type. So my variable pointer with the help of which I want to fetch the first increment when I is equal to 1. When I is equal to 1, first argument of integer type I want to fetch with the help of my pointer vp, and then I will become 2. The next fetch will take place. Likewise, the fetching of one argument with the help of var will take place until all the arguments are exhausted, and the resultant is what's stored in sum. Now my work is done, so va end that I have to do. Va end arg macro I have to call. Then return, what is that return value? Sum is the value which I have to return. So this is what about my program. Let me compile. Some errors are occurred. std
You missed the
arg.
G in the header file.
Arg is there. Yes. Spell mistake. std arg. Okay, Nama, all of you are done. If you want, I'll explain once again. Let me compile first of all.
Yes.
Still, I'm getting some conflict. Yeah, prototype declaration problem is there. Let me declare it. When return type is integer, add is method int comma dot dot dot. Compile. VA end. I think we have to pass VP. Let me check. Yeah, done. Okay, Nama. Now, shall we run this? Yeah, the answer is 40. The sum is 40. It is showing. Let me check whether it is correct or not. 7, 15, 24, 26, 36, 40. Yes, the answer is 40, excluding first one. If you want first one to be added, means what you do, sum is equal to num, you say. If you say num, then first also will be added, including first argument. But since in my idea, the first argument only tells about how many are there remaining. Now this time it is 45 because first argument is 5. Now similarly, I can now call any number of such a add methods. Same add method only I am calling. This time 4 comma 9 comma 3 comma 4 comma 6. Yeah, remaining are 4. First argument is 4. Again I can print the sum is percentage d comma res. Then comes res is equal to add method of 9 comma 1 comma 2 comma 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So this time I am passing 9, including first, means you will get again the result. The sum is percentage d comma res. So likewise, same add method, it is not overloaded. Those who are familiar about OOPS concept, it is looking like as if we are overloading the add method. But here it is not overloaded. In the overloaded concept, all methods to be implemented. So 3 times I'm calling add method means 3 different versions of add method body I have to write. But I'm not doing like that. I have written add method only once. In the same add method, I'm calling in different ways by passing different arguments. So let me rerun this program. Volume problem ichindamma. Okay, here spelling mistake is there. Done. This is what here. First one is giving sum as 45, second one is 26, third one is 54, including first argument. If you don't want to include the first argument, initial sum you take it as 0, you will get without including the answer. Build them, run it. Is what the answer, 40, 22, 45. Yes, 1 to 9 sum is 45. So likewise I can implement. Okay, Nama? Yes, all of you.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
do you observe that 4 macros that we have to remember? First step is create a variable of VA list type, and then that variable of VA list type should be binded with the first argument of your parameter. That is, in my case, it is num. I have to bind that first argument to VA list type of variable. Once if the binding is over, then we can fetch the arguments one by one from the remaining list of arguments with the help of VA underscore ARG. This is also a macro with the help of which that macro, what it will do, it will take the VA type of what's a VA list type of variable, and the remaining arguments one by one it will fetch and will give you in return. And that return value I'm adding to the sum variable. Finally, once if the work is done after coming out of the loop, after fetching all the arguments which we passed, and the one done, then we have to end that particular, we have to close or we have to wind up all the memory. So for that purpose, VA end is one more macro to which again I'm passing the variable V8, VP, which is of VA list type. And finally, I'm returning the sum value. So this is what similar to your that one also, command line arguments are good, but here without any command line arguments, through this VA variable number of argument function we can design. Now homework is all of you. I want that by next what is it, today is what, 12th na? So the next class is on 14th, all of you. Tomorrow you have what's a break also, 1 day break. I want the printf to be designed. You design the printf method of your own. You keep your name, and that method which you have given your name should work exactly like as a printf statement. How your printf statement will work, you know very well. In the same way, your designed method should work. should behave like as your printf. Okay na? Okay nama? If you want, I'll give you the hint also. Everybody should at least attempt this and should submit that particular assignment. I am very serious about this, Amma. Let me tell you about the printf. I will give the hint here. Suppose if I say Shastri, the sum of percentage t comma percentage t is percentage t comma a comma b comma res. Suppose initially if a is something called 5 and b is something called 7, then res should return this particular value. I mean, should print this particular res. If I say res is equal to a plus b, then a, b and res values to be printed. Thus on the screen I should get the answer like this: the sum of 5 comma 7 is, or the resultant of 5 and 7, 12. So this message I have to get. The same in place of this Shastri. Suppose if I say printf, it will work as usual. Na? In the same way, here if in place of printf, I am using Shastri method. And this Shastri method should behave like as a printf and should display the answer like this on the screen. Now the hint is here also, the first argument is known argument, which is a string. So character array it is, a something, comma, 3 dots. Name of the function is Shastri. Begin. Now first argument va list, you have to anyhow take va underscore list type of variable vp you take, and then bind that vp with the first argument, which is a string type. Then in the loop here, you read the string character wise. First read that string character wise. When you are reading, t will come, so it is not equal to percentile symbol. So if here is not percentile symbol, simply print. Then we read h is also not equal to percentile symbol, so we print, and then e, then space, then s, u, m, o, f. After displaying up to this here, now immediately I got percentile symbol. Now since percentile symbol is encountered, immediately in the place of this percentile symbol, once if the percentile symbol is encountered, then first argument to be fetched. So thus I can say like this here, Amma. Logic is, if a of I is equal to percentile symbol, then you take some temporary variable x here, fetch the argument va underscore arg of vp comma, and what type of parameter it is, integer type. So say int, that you store it in x, and that x immediately you print. When you print that particular one on the screen, that will apply. So after percentile symbol, in place of this 5 will be printed. Then comma is not a percentile symbol. Then after comma, once again the percentile symbol is encountered, and once again this if condition will get true, it will fetch the second argument, that is b, and that b is stored in x, that we are printing, which is 7. Then I is not a percentile symbol, s is not a percentile symbol, then space is not a percentile symbol, again we got a percentile symbol. So since again this is percentile, so if condition accordingly, we fetch the third argument, which is res. Res is already how much, 12, and that 12 will be printed here in this place. The same message you will get. This is what the logic here, Amma. అక్కడ లూప్ ఏం చేసామంటే, in my add method, the first argument indicates how many are there remaining. So I continued my loop of fetching the arguments based on the first argument hint only. And in the printf's case, first argument hint is, it goes on read each character from the first string, which is hint, and whenever a percentile symbol is encountered, it starts fetching the arguments. So based on the number of percentiles, that many arguments will be fetched. That's what the printf method. You implement this one, I have given the hint also Okay, very small modification I have to do. Thing is, instead of reading integers, here I am reading one character from the string. So if you want that also, I'll tell you. You take like this, initially I is equal to 0, and while a of I is not equal to null. You know, this starting from h to last, if it is not equal to null, until it is not equal to null, do fetch all this. So remaining logic, write it in while loop. I is equal to I plus 1. That is what that while loop which I can use. Okay, Namma, all of you. So I have completely given the hint, and I want that everybody should submit the assignment on 14th of, I mean, the next day after tomorrow. So thank you, Amma. I'm stopping here. All of you, happy Ugadi.
Thank you, sir. Wish you the same.
Okay, Namma. Yeah, madam.
Yes, sir.
Madam, I have given one assignment program.
Okay, sir.
Strictly, I told them to attempt that. I have given the hint also how to do.
Yes, sir.
So by 14th, you tell them to submit, madam. Let us see that how
Yes,
many
sir.
are going to respond.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
So all of you, happy Ugadi, madam. Madam Sandar.
Happy Ugadi, sir. Thank
Maybe
you, sir.
all are available in the group. So for them also convey from my side, madam. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.